Hey everybody, welcome to the Tone
Made in the
Church.
USA.
Today we're going to reveal the
12AX7.
inner mysteries of the Zener diode.
Interesting.
I know this has been a question on everybody's
This is
mind.
definitely because of the yellow paint
And
the way it's made. It says made in the
what's
USA
going on
up there.
over
That's
here?
a Sylvania. What do we have
Anyway,
here?
so the Zener diode, as we all know.
Oh, tonepriest. Right on.
Oh
Okay.
shit!
Yeah, cool, man. I appreciate that. That looks awesome. I like that.
Oh
Oh
fuck!
yeah.
I wasn't expecting
Might
visitors.
indeed.
Oh shit!
I've got
Oh
some books, man, with
shit!
old pin-up art.
Shit! This video needs to be a good one. What are we gonna do? Yeah, Zener diodes ain't gonna cut it. The champ, give me a break. What else do we have around here? Ooh, what about this guy back here? Blonde Gibson, 55-year-old blonde Gibson. Nobody cares about Gibson amplifiers. Ah, shit, we need to find something better. What do we have over here? Record player? Nah, fuck that. Prince of Darkness? The RCA. Shit, what are we gonna do? Oh, I know what we'll do. Alright, do I look okay? This thing's a mess. I wasn't expecting guests here. Want to give a big shout out and thank you to Brad for giving the tonepriest YouTube channel a shout out on his latest SPF video. That was very nice of him, very generous to say those very kind things. Enjoy your knickknacks. Looking forward to seeing you build something with that RCA 815 tube. To answer the question that was posed in the chat of that video, you can't get the smell out. You just have to burn it. But I recommend removing the GIMP first before you burn it. Don't ask me how I know that. Anyway, so seeing as that happened and we might have a few extra guests around here, I thought we'd do something very special and very exciting. So what I've decided to do is we're going to build a amplifier channel switching foot switch for an amp that almost nobody has. So if that sounds interesting to you, hang tight. Here we go. Alright, the amplifier in question is a 1980s, probably early 80s, MTI era Ampeg V3 combo. It's a 50-watt guitar amplifier that apparently was based around a JCM 800. Has a couple of 6550 power tubes, and yeah, she's a real barn burner. She's nice. So when I serviced this amp, probably about a year ago, I tried to do some research for it, and there's really not a lot of information about this amplifier out there. But what is even less common, apparently, are foot switches. And you need this foot switch to make the amp run properly. If you don't have the foot switch, you can't really change the channels, turn one on, turn the other one on, both, neither, that type of deal. You need the foot switch. And few viewers of the channel have reached out to me, about where you find a foot switch. One guy used my video to build his own, so nicely done. Good, sir. And yeah, we made a video about making a foot switch for mine. Oh, Jesus. Come on. I'm supposed to be stepping this up. But as you can see, this is a prototype, and it's, very Jed Clampett. So while this is all going on, the Tone Nun is up my butt about, all these amplifiers and musical equipment around the Tone Church. And she's like, when are you going to stop making some money on this crap? So to that end, I think we're going to put our efforts into making a retail-ready channel switching foot switch for the Ampeg V3. And I think that'll be awesome. So without further ado, let's get to it. So back when I was servicing the amplifier, I was not able to find a schematic for the amp itself, but thanks to Philip Petrzewski here, we were able to find a schematic for the foot switch, which pretty much saved us. And I used the schematic to build this sucker. And so, this is, who's going to buy that for any amount of money? Tried looking for a switching pedal, 3-button pedal that would work with this amplifier, but it uses a 5-pin connector. What do they call it? Yeah, the 5-pin XLR, like microphone type connector. I believe these are used for like lighting systems, stage lighting systems. And I was hoping this guy here that I got from Amplified Parts was going to work. Yeah, let me show you what his plug looks like. There you are, because he has 5 pins. But, well, this actually might work. Let's check this sucker out. Yeah, that ain't even going to come close to working. So, we've got some sockets here that we're going to have to add to the foot switch. And we're going to have to open this up and do some surgery on the wiring and the buttons and stuff here. So, it shouldn't be too difficult. And hopefully when we're done, we'll have a really snazzy looking channel selecting and reverb selecting foot switch for our awesome Ampeg V3. Okay, here is the cable that works with this whole rigmarole. And as we can see, or hopefully you can see, let's get some light on this scene here. Yeah, how's that? Yeah, not compatible. Not the same thing, not even close. Doesn't work. So, I'm going to have to remove this. Going to have to... Oh boy, this is going to be a problem. We're going to have to enlarge this hole, but I think if we enlarge this hole enough for this to fit, we're going to bust through the bottom of this. So we might have to plug this and then stick this socket somewhere else. But that shouldn't be too difficult. The pedal itself, again, I got this from Amplified Parts, also known as Antique Electronics. The switches are kind of nice. They're kind of a soft click. But, unfortunately, they come with a fatal flaw, which I will show you after I open the hood up here. Alright, we got the bottom plate cover off, and it's really nice and beefy. This is a nice, good, thick piece of steel right here. I like it a lot. Ooh. Was that a C sharp? Yeah, here's the problem though. These switches are all single pole, double throw, and we need 2 poles. One to switch the channel on and off, and the other pole to illuminate an LED. So that's a bummer, because again, these switches have a really nice feel to them. But we'll pull them out and, you know, we'll put them to good use somewhere, sometime down the road. And these LEDs look like they're 3mm LEDs, and they're inserted into the plastic grommets, which I really don't care for, especially on foot switches, on pedal changers, on pedals, because you know you got your big old, you know, Chuck Taylors right here, pressing down this button, and you're jamming away to, you know, throngs of adoring fans, and you're not paying attention, and if you're not careful, you push down too hard, you can push this LED down, and yeah, so it just pushes right in to the enclosure. What I like better are this style LED bezel. Can you see that? You in focus? Probably not. Jesus Christ. The director of photography is going to be fired. Anyway, I like the 5mm LEDs and these nice tall metal bezels. It's a little bit nicer, a little bit stronger. So we'll probably add these guys. That shouldn't be a problem. And we'll pick out some nice LEDs. You know, there's a green channel and a red channel, so we're kind of limited, you know, by sanity to having a green and a red LED. But the reverb, you know, maybe we'll do something cool. Maybe we'll go with pink. Or pink. Or something. Alright. Yeah, let's take a look at the... Damn it. the original I made here, the prototype. And when I made this, I had recycled an enclosure from another project. So that's why it's all full of holes. And there she is. And this one doesn't have LEDs. So we're only using one pole on each of these. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will put these guys in here. And then we'll, you know, won't be wasting anything. Because I don't care about the LEDs. I just want my amp to work. I kind of like the rustic look of Jed Clampett's foot switch here. But yeah, there's not much to it. 5 wires and that's it. We got a brown, a green, a red, a blue, and a ground wire. Easy peasy. Alright, we really need to stop talking about it and start doing it. Here we go. Hey, what do you think? Is this going to work? Hey, is this going to work? Give it the smell test. Oh, you don't care. Alright, we have this guy all torn apart. Right down to the bare chassis. Found a couple of nice switches here. These are soft click as well. So we'll use the good stuff. So let's scrutinize the schematic for a second here to see exactly what's going on. So we have 5 pins on our connector. One is for ground. Then you have one connection for each function, volume 1, volume 2, and reverb. And then the last pin here, pin 5, they call VCC. Not entirely sure this is appropriate nomenclature for this. It's generally for, you know, transistors, but this may be working with transistors, who knows. This would sort of be like calling it, if, you know, it was related to vacuum tubes, calling this plate voltage, but whatever. Here's our voltage. Pin 5 power, it's getting 6.3 volts, so it's probably getting its power from the heater line. So it's likely 6.3 volts AC. Not sure if they rectified that to DC, which would actually be a good idea on a high gain amp. But anyway, we get 6.3 volts. He's coming in, and that is supplying voltage to pin 1 of each of our switches, as well as another pin, common, for our LEDs. So what happens is, with the switch in the position that it's drawn, we have 6.3 volts coming in on pin 1, and that's connected to the common, which goes to, in this case, back to the volume 1 channel. And then when you flip the switch, the arm goes down to pin 3, which then grounds this line. I imagine that what this is doing is supplying voltage for an electromagnet in a relay. So it'll turn the relay on, and then it'll flip something up in the main circuit board to, you know, send your signal through that channel. Same thing with the reverb. Pretty simple stuff. Same thing with the LEDs. We have our 6.3 volts coming in. When it's in the up position, it sends power through the LED, which is connected to a dropping resistor and ground, which should turn it on. And then when you flip the switch, this guy moves down to the bottom pin, and it has nowhere to go. So the LED shuts off. Makes sense? All right. Moving on. All right, we made a nice big hole for our socket. And if you'll see on these sockets here, see those little grooves there, bumps, whatever you want to call them. Those were interfering with me being able to push this into the hole, so I used the Dremel style tool, the Drill Master Dremel style tool, to just grind those down. So we had a nice, made them nice and flush with the barrel, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, there she is. We just got to drill some holes for the screws, and that was pretty easy. And to drill the hole for that, we just used a nice step drill. All right, let's get these screw holes in here. Get this sucker screwed in, and we'll be well on our way to finishing this nice little project. All right, instead of just talking about it, thought I'd give you guys some action shots here of this riveting action of me drilling holes. Can you see that? I had this guy in here. Well, we marked where the holes need to be with a mechanical pencil. And we're just going to very carefully drill some holes. Here's one. Hell yeah. Now I went out and I got these special little screws here for this. Probably can't see that. Monsterbolts.com. Can you read that? Let's get some light on that. Monsterbolts.com. Went looking through their web page today. Looks pretty good. These are hex head. Yeah, you can't see shit. Also went out and got the cheapest hole guide I could find on Amazon. Made by General. Isn't that Harbor Freight? But yeah, it's pretty nice. It's stainless. The edges are, you know, not really broken, but they're not sharp either, so we'll be fine. Where's this guy want to be? 125? Yeah, 1/8 inch. Look at that. Thing's already paid for itself. Get ourselves an 1/8 inch drill bit. A half. We're using Milwaukee's. Flavor of the day. Found at hardware stores everywhere. Alright. Let's do it. Give it a little ream out. Give ourselves some wiggle room.
That's what she said.
Bam! See that? Oh yeah, look, check this out. Special effects, baby. Sweet. Let's get this sucker installed. Alright, she's in. Look at that. Those bolts look pretty nice. Those machine screws. If I'm ever going to make some more of these, I think I'll get a little bit bigger screws. So instead of getting 5/16, I'll get 6/16. Yeah, that's not a real measurement. 12/32. You know what I'm talking about. But they work. They're long enough. They're just, you know, a little difficult to get started. But those are tooth washers there, so that shouldn't be going anywhere.
I muffled both of them with my left hand down by the nut.
Yeah, that's the hardest part of this thing. And I do have some hole plugs, but they're not, the ones I have aren't big enough for that hole. So we're going to have to order some hole plugs for that hole, and we'll cover that sucker up. Alright, let's get the switches in here, and we'll get her all wired up. Alright, we got one more little thing we need to do to the chassis here. We need to enlarge these holes for our LED bezels, which are most likely not in focus. Again, we're going to use our, what do we call this thing? Fractional size drill gauge. And looks like 5/16 is the one we want. Yeah, 5/16. So we're not going to use a step drill and kind of guess and drill and check and drill and check. We're just going to go straight for it. Here's our 5/16 drill. Let's drill it. You see that? Oop, foul. Again. Wicked professional. We're doing our best not to scratch the chassis here. Bam! Like a glove. Alright, we're going to do 2 more holes. We'll get our Dremel style tool out. We'll break these edges, and we'll install our bezels, and we'll break out the soldering iron. While we're at it, and since we just had an awkward moment, we'll do a little review of this Ryobi corded drill. It's very inexpensive, relatively speaking. Can be found at, I think it's probably Lowe's or Home Depot is where I got this guy. It's very good. It's strong. The only thing I don't like, as you may have seen, is the chuck is not great. You gotta really tighten the shit out of it. Otherwise, sometimes the drill bit comes loose. But other than that, it's been a good little drill. You know, we're not like drilling in wood here. We're usually, when we're using this, we're drilling through metal. So far, so good. Alright, I hope you can see this. I think the best way to solder wires to this connector here is to take it out of the enclosure, obviously, which is what I've done. This is not the droids we're looking for. Alright. So this square tab right here is bonded to the body of the connector. So this is a ground, and the pin next to it is being used for the ground of the circuit. So we're going to come out of here with a black wire, ground all our stuff, and then we're going to return another ground connection right there when all is said and done. That way the enclosure will have the same ground reference as the circuit, and the amplifier, blah, blah, blah. I need 3 hands, which is why we got Mr. Helping Hands here. I think the proper mil-spec way of soldering into one of these kind of pins is you're supposed to cut a teeny little piece of solder and stick it in there, heat it up, and then introduce the wire. But that all seems like a lot of work. I've added some flux to the pins, and if I can get my tip clean, we're going to heat the pin from underneath. And when it gets hot enough from the top, the solder will melt into it, and that should make a nice secure solder connection for sure. Just like that. Boom. Give it a few seconds to freeze. Let's see how we did. Oh yeah, she's not going anywhere. Alright, rinse and repeat for all the other wires. 4 more wires. And pop the sucker back in the enclosure and wire up the switches. Alright, if you're playing the home game, this is how the wires should be connected. Starting at that square pin, get the black, then green, then red, blue. I'm going with orange because we don't have brown. So there you go. Does that help? Is this helpful? Is this helpful at all? I'm going to add some heat shrink just to make it look prettier. Alright, she's all wired up. She's all filthy dirty. But let's plug her into the amp and see what she does, if anything. Alright, here she is, the Ampeg V3 in all her glory. Up on the workbench. Need to fix this switch. I remember last year the switch was broken. And it's supposed to be an on-off-on switch. And I just have this guy temped in here for now. So, whatever. Should be alright, but we'll get to that at some point. But yeah, pretty much like a JCM 800. You have 2 channels. Pre-volume 1, post-volume 1. Volume 2, bass, mid, treble, presence. Got some reverb in here, so that's nice. And master volume. Nice woolly grill cloth. Fantastic Ampeg logo. Alright, let's flip her around, see what the business end looks like. Oh yeah, we're not messing around here. A couple of 6550s, and then we have an array of 12AX7s. Fender, what is this one? Is that another Fender? And we have a made in Japan something or other. And we have what looks to be a Sovtech. And then in position 1 is a RCA 7025. I wonder who could have put that there. And when I purchased this amplifier, it did not have a speaker. So I put this Celestion G1250 in it. And it seems to be doing the trick. But she's been sitting in cold storage, literally. My storage area is not heated at all, so it gets a little chilly here in the Northeast. But she's been in cold storage for about a year, so we'll just pop her on the current limiter to make sure she's all right, and then we'll plug her into the wall and try out this foot switch. All right, we got those big 6550s warming up. Got her in standby here, and as you can see, with no foot pedal installed, both channels are lit up. I don't remember if the reverb is on or off in this configuration, but we will find out hopefully in a second. All right, here we are. Can you see all that? Button 1, channel 1, button 2, channel 2, button 3, reverb. There's no light up here. There we go. We got the Christmas Superman. Yeah, let's shut this off. There we go. How cool is that? Special effects at the Tone Church right here. You saw it here first. She works. This amplifier is a bit of an unruly beast. A little more than I'm used to playing, but I'll just throw the cell phone up in the corner here and play a little ditty, and hopefully you'll get the idea of what we got going on here.
Do you pack a little too?
Well, not much.
Alright, we got the Ibanez. We have Benezed. And with none of the buttons on, that's what you get. You need one of the two channels to be on. Seems like the red channel, channel 2. It's for more your clean tone. Oh, that's a little loud. Channel 1 is more of this kind of thing. And yeah, fun with tremolos. And we have reverb. This channel alone sounds kind of shitty. Actually, it sounds pretty good right there. That noise is because I'm sitting next to my computer. Apologies for that. Sounds best with the high gain while the normal gain channel is still on, to me anyway.
I don't know if I remember anything or not.
Away from home.
You're not crying, are you?
Well, there you go. Hopefully my guitar playing wasn't totally horrible. But that should give you an idea of what a functional foot switch does and a little bit how the amp sounds. This amp is quite different than what I've been playing recently, and I'm a bass player by trade, so don't expect miracles.
You're supposed to suck.
But anyway, yeah, let's polish her up and we'll wrap this sucker up. There she is, all wrapped up. All looking nice. Just gonna get a plug for this hole. But she's pretty nice. Nice, and this enclosure is really nice. Nice thick steel, nice and beefy. switches, we get the soft clickers. And it comes with a brand new 10-foot cable. So if anybody out there has an Ampeg V3, you know, I believe it works with the, there's a couple other versions of that amp, like a 100-watt version, whatever, V5 or V7. But they all look the same. They have that same kind of cable-looking socket in the back for this kind of foot switch. So if you have one of those amps and you need one of these, my email's in the description down below. Let me know. I can hook you up. Just bear in mind, she ain't going to be cheap. This is $60 in parts alone. So, you know, but it is what it is. But hopefully, you know, if you have that amp and you need one of these, you know, this video has inspired you to put one together yourself so you can save yourself a couple of bucks. All right, but don't do that. My lawyers have told me don't do that. It's fucking dangerous to burn down your house. So
there is this prehistoric death machine swimming right next to you.
Buy this one. Send me an email. You can buy this one right here or one just like it. All right. Thanks for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. I definitely did. Until the next time. Oh, yeah. Thanks once again to Brad. Thanks, Brad. And we'll see you all soon with something really cool. Rock on, dudes and dudettes.
Done.